Hi guys, just got back from the forest and I am going to show you how I'm prepping some of my mushrooms for storage or long-term preservation. So these are a bunch of pear-shaped puffballs that I just got back from picking, and let's see, you can see them in here now. So you'll see there's a lot of dirt and moss on the bottom, so we want to cut that off and then cut the mushrooms in half so they can dry, because we're going to grind them up into flour. So these are not cooperating with the mushroom knife, that's okay. Just going to take the cutting board down off the wall, grab my serrated chef's knife, and cut them like that. And then we're also going to cut them in half for two reasons. One, to make sure that the inside is still white, because when they're no longer white, they're no longer safe to eat. And two, it will help them dry faster if they're exposed to some air this way as well. So I'm just going to lay them out on a little paper towel over here on my kitchen table. So we've also got some maitake. Now this one in particular stores really well. You don't have to do a whole lot to maitake. All you really need to do is wrap it in some paper towel and then put it in an open plastic bag, and it will last in the fridge like 2 weeks. Which is really great for a wild mushroom. So I'm going to do this with the rest of the other ones that I've got in my bag, the maitake, just like that. And then they're going to go back in that bag, and then they'll go in the refrigerator. This is also a good time to just give them a quick shake over your sink, get any last bugs or dirt off. The dirt really isn't going to hurt you as long as it's thoroughly cooked. And the bugs aren't either. They're not going to eat that much of the mushroom, especially once it goes into the refrigerator. And you can eat the bugs that are eating the mushroom too. They're just a little extra protein. No harm, no foul there. Lastly, I have my big collection of resinous polypore. And these we're also going to put in a bag after we wrap them in a little bit of paper towel. These are quite wet, and the paper towel will keep them from getting too soft and mushy. They've already started, some of them, to get a little bit soft. So I'm going to make sure that I get to them sooner rather than later, because I don't remember exactly how long these keep in the refrigerator. These are a slightly newer friend of mine that have come to the foraging table. So I'm not as familiar with their storage. Last year I only had one flush, and I used them more or less immediately, which is why I don't quite know how long they're going to last, because I didn't have need to store them last year. But this is a much larger amount than I've ever had, so I will be storing them at least until tomorrow or the next day when I have a chance to cook them. These need quite a lot of cooking, and even if they get a little wet, you won't notice, because I do remember that from last year. The edges may get a little soft, they may get a little soggy, but they will perk right up once you put them back into your stew or stock. If that's what you're going to be doing with them. I've also seen them made into jerky, which looks very good, but I think they're better as a sort of beef substitute, so that's what I'm going to be doing with them, and cooking them in a stew that way. I have another maitake over here. I can see this one was nice and young, very small, so that one's going to get used probably first. One of my favorite things to do with maitake is actually to roast it. It takes on a sort of potato in steak dinner sort of flavor. which is kind of incredible. I know, and you may not believe me, but it is true. Especially one that size. So you'll roast that until the edges turn almost completely black, and they get really crispy and crunchy, and it will have a sort of baked or roasted potato kind of taste to it on the edges, and then the middle will be really, really nice and meaty, and that's where the steak flavor kind of comes in. So that may be what happens to that one. This maitake, on the other hand, this was the one that was a little sun-bleached and a little bit old. This one may end up becoming medicine for next year, because it's so far the least culinarily desirable one that I've picked this year. So we don't want to get rid of it because it's still perfectly good, but we may end up using it for medicine instead of for food. Not that the food is not also medicine, but when I say medicine, I mean a tincture, excuse me, made with alcohol, and then I do a double extraction. So I will also be using water in addition to the alcohol. This one looks like it may not be quite so good. I'm going to throw it in here anyway, just in case. Some of them were in the bag a little bit longer than some of the others, and you know, when they get at the bottom of the bag, sometimes they get a little squashed looking and they don't look quite as good. So I'll make this judgment call again when they come back out to be made into our stew. I also picked, well, I thought there were a couple of honey mushrooms in here. I guess not. I only found these three, which kind of a sad haul when it comes to honey mushrooms. There have been years past where I had bags like this one in front of me just filled to the brim with honeys. And I really like them. I like them better, I think, than the shrimp of the woods, which is kind of a honey mushroom. It is a honey mushroom. It's just being preyed upon by an entoloma. So it doesn't really look much like a honey mushroom anymore. So these will probably get cooked either later tonight or tomorrow, these resinous polypore, just because I don't really like the way they look right now. They look like they're starting to go, and I don't, they're one of my favorite mushrooms. I really happen to like the way they taste very, very much. So I'm probably going to do these tonight after my shift, just get them sauteed off, and then they can continue cooking throughout the night, and that'll be all right for them. And then lastly, we have a bumpy polypore. So this is a Trametes family genus. Yeah, genus. This is the Trametes genus from the same family as the turkey tail, and I'm going to be using this for medicine as well. So this is just going to go out to dry. But now you've seen how we have stored, or will be storing, some of our mushrooms for further use or later use. And as I said, I think these resinous ones are going to be first. The maitake will probably be second, along with the honey mushrooms. Enjoy, happy foraging, happy preserving, and take care.